Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Beautifully Unfiltered Podcast. I'm so grateful you're here today. Today's conversation is for anyone who feels like they're standing at the beginning of a new chapter, even if they never planned to be here. Maybe you're starting over after a heartbreak. Maybe you've left a job that no longer fulfilled you. Maybe you've lost a dream you held on to for years. Or maybe you've simply become someone different, and now you're trying to figure out what comes next. If that's where you are today, I want you to know this. Starting over is not a sign that you've failed. Sometimes it's the bravest thing you'll ever do. Today, we're going to talk about the quiet courage of starting over. When we think about starting over, we often imagine it as something dramatic. A fresh beginning, a clean slate, a brand new chapter. But in reality, starting over rarely feels exciting at first. Most of the time, it feels confusing. It feels uncertain. It feels lonely. Because beginning again means leaving behind something familiar, even if that familiar place wasn't making you happy. Human beings naturally hold on to what we know, even when it hurts us, even when we've outgrown it, because uncertainty can feel scarier than discomfort. It's strange how we sometimes choose predictable pain over unfamiliar peace. We stay in situations that no longer help us grow because at least we know what to expect. We tell ourselves, maybe things will get better. Maybe I should wait a little longer. Maybe this is all I deserve. But deep inside, there's often a quiet voice whispering something different. It says, there's more waiting for you. The difficult part is trusting that voice, because starting over asks something from us. It asks us to believe in possibilities we can't see yet, and that's incredibly hard. Especially when life has disappointed us before. Maybe you've worked hard for something that didn't happen. Maybe you gave your heart to someone who couldn't hold it with care. Maybe you spent years building a version of your life that suddenly fell apart. When those things happen, it's understandable to become afraid of beginning again. You start wondering, what if this doesn't work either? What if I fail again? What if I get hurt again? Those questions are human. We've all asked them. But here's something I've learned. The fear of starting over isn't usually about the future. It's about carrying the pain of the past into the future. We assume tomorrow will look exactly like yesterday. We convince ourselves that because something ended once, every new beginning will end the same way. But life doesn't work like that. Every sunrise is different. Every season changes. Every chapter teaches us something the previous one couldn't. The person you are today is not the same person you were before. You've learned things. You've survived things. You've grown in ways you probably don't even notice. The version of you that's beginning again now is wiser than the one who began years ago. You aren't starting from zero. You're starting from experience. That's an important difference. Sometimes we become so focused on everything we've lost that we forget to notice everything we've gained. Strength, wisdom, patience, discernment, compassion, resilience. Those aren't small things. They're the invisible gifts life gives us after every difficult season. No one wishes for painful chapters, but many of our greatest qualities are born inside them. Think about a forest after a wildfire. At first, everything looks destroyed. The trees are blackened. The ground seems empty. It appears as though nothing beautiful could ever grow there again. But over time, something remarkable happens. New life begins to appear. Tiny green shoots push through the ashes. Flowers bloom where the fire once burned. The forest doesn't become beautiful because the fire happened. It becomes beautiful because life refused to stop growing. Maybe that's where you are right now, looking at the ashes of something you loved, wondering if anything beautiful can still come from what's been lost. It appears as though nothing beautiful could ever grow there again. But over time, something remarkable happens. New life begins to appear. Tiny green shoots push through the ashes. Flowers bloom where the fire once burned. The forest doesn't become beautiful because the fire happened. It becomes beautiful because life refused to stop growing. Maybe that's where you are right now, looking at the ashes of something you loved, wondering if anything beautiful can still come from what's been lost. The answer is yes. Not because the pain wasn't real, not because what happened didn't matter, but because your story isn't finished yet. One ending doesn't define your entire life. Sometimes we mistake an ending for the end of everything, but often it's simply the end of one chapter. Think about your favorite book. If you stopped reading halfway through because one chapter was difficult, you'd never discover how the story unfolds. Life asks us to keep turning the page, even when we're scared of what comes next, even when the next page is blank. Because blank pages aren't empty, they're full of possibility. Every dream you've ever admired started as a blank page. Every meaningful friendship began with strangers. Every peaceful season began after a difficult one. Every confident person was once uncertain. Every strong person was once afraid. The difference wasn't the absence of fear. The difference was that they kept walking anyway. And maybe that's exactly what courage really is. Not moving forward because you're certain, but moving forward because hope is stronger than fear. Sometimes we think courage looks loud. We imagine fearless people standing confidently without hesitation. But real courage is often much quieter than that. It's the parent who wakes up every morning and keeps trying even after life has knocked them down. It's the person who submits another job application after being rejected over and over again. It's the heart that chooses to love again after experiencing heartbreak. It's the soul that decides to believe in tomorrow, even when today feels heavy. Courage rarely announces itself. Most of the time, it whispers. It says, take one more step. Not 10, not 100, just one. We often put too much pressure on ourselves to have everything figured out before we begin. We want certainty. We want guarantees. We want to know exactly how everything will turn out before we take the first step. But life doesn't usually work that way. Imagine if every sunrise waited until every cloud disappeared. Morning would never come. Sometimes light arrives while darkness is still fading. And maybe healing works the same way. Maybe you don't have to feel completely ready before moving forward. Maybe you don't have to have every answer before taking the next step. Sometimes clarity doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. Every small step teaches you something the last one couldn't. Every new experience expands your understanding. Every brave decision builds confidence you didn't have yesterday. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. One decision at a time, one small victory at a time, one ordinary day at a time. There will be moments when you compare your beginning to someone else's middle. You'll look around and think everyone else has their life together. You'll wonder why your journey feels slower, why your progress feels smaller, why your dreams seem farther away. But comparison has a way of hiding the truth. You only see the finished picture. You don't see the sleepless nights, the failures, the doubts, the years they spent wondering if they should give up. Everyone has a chapter they rarely talk about: the quiet season, the uncertain season, the season where nothing seemed to make sense. Don't compare your first page to someone else's 20th chapter. Your story deserves the chance to unfold at its own pace. Life isn't asking you to race anyone. It's inviting you to become who you were created to be. That journey can't be rushed. One of the most beautiful things about starting over is that it gives you permission to choose differently. You don't have to repeat old patterns. You don't have to keep saying yes when your heart means no. You don't have to stay where you've stopped growing. You can choose healthier friendships, healthier habits, healthier thoughts. You can choose rest instead of constant exhaustion, peace instead of endless proving, presence instead of perfection. Every new beginning is an opportunity to become more honest with yourself, to ask, what kind of life do I actually want? What truly matters to me? What brings me peace? Those questions are powerful because the answers don't come from other people. They come from within you. Sometimes starting over isn't about changing your surroundings. Sometimes it's about changing the way you see yourself. For years, you may have believed you weren't capable enough, smart enough, strong enough, worthy enough. But those beliefs were never facts. They were stories. Stories shaped by disappointment, by criticism, by fear. And the beautiful thing about stories is that they can be rewritten. You are not defined by your worst mistake. You are not defined by your greatest disappointment. You are not defined by the chapter that hurt the most. You are continually becoming. Every sunrise offers another opportunity to begin again. Not because yesterday didn't matter, but because today does. Think about how nature reminds us of this every single day. Trees lose their leaves without believing they'll never bloom again. The ocean doesn't stop reaching the shore because one wave disappears. The moon never apologizes for its phases. It simply continues becoming whole again. Maybe we're meant to learn from that. Maybe we're allowed to have seasons too. Seasons of growth, seasons of rest, seasons of rebuilding, seasons of beginning again. Not every season will look the same, and it doesn't have to. Your life was never meant to stay unchanged forever. Growth always asks us to leave something behind. Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's pride. Sometimes it's expectations. Sometimes it's the version of ourselves we've outgrown. Letting go can feel painful, but holding on to what no longer fits can hurt even more. So if life has placed you at a new beginning, don't spend all your energy wishing you were somewhere else. Instead, look around. Notice what this season is trying to teach you. There may be opportunities here you couldn't have seen before. There may be people you're about to meet who will change your life. There may be dreams waiting quietly for the version of you you're becoming now. Every ending creates space, and sometimes that empty space isn't something to fear. It's where new life begins. As we come to the end of today's conversation, I want to leave you with one final thought. Maybe starting over isn't something that happened to you. Maybe it's something that's happening for you. I know that can be difficult to believe when you're standing in the middle of uncertainty, when the future feels blurry, when you're grieving the life you thought you would have, when you're missing people who are no longer part of your everyday life, when you're wondering if you'll ever feel at home again. But sometimes, the most meaningful chapters begin exactly like this. Quietly, without applause, without certainty, without anyone else noticing. The biggest transformations in our lives rarely happen all at once. They happen in the small choices we make every day. Choosing to get out of bed when it's hard. Choosing to hope after disappointment. Choosing to forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made. Choosing to believe that your past doesn't get the final word. Those choices may seem small, but over time, they become a brand new life. One day, you'll look back and realize the moment you thought everything was falling apart was actually the moment everything slowly started coming together. You'll smile at the version of yourself who was so afraid to begin again, not because their fear was silly, but because they had no idea how strong they truly were. There will come a day when the place that once felt unfamiliar begins to feel like home. The routines you're building now will become your comfort. The confidence you're searching for will quietly grow through experience. The peace you're longing for will no longer feel so far away. And the person you're becoming will thank you for not giving up. So if today feels uncertain, take a deep breath. You don't need to have your entire future figured out. You only need enough courage for the next step. One step, one decision, one sunrise at a time. Trust that healing doesn't happen overnight. Trust that growth often happens quietly. Trust that beginnings don't have to be perfect to become beautiful. Most importantly, trust yourself. Because you've survived days you once believed would break you. You've carried burdens you never imagined you could carry. You've found your way through seasons you thought would never end. That strength is still within you. It always has been. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not starting from nothing. You're starting from experience, from wisdom, from resilience, from hope. And that is more than enough. So wherever life finds you today, whether you're rebuilding your heart, starting a new dream, walking away from what no longer serves you, or simply learning how to believe in yourself again, know this: you are allowed to begin again, as many times as life asks you to. Because every sunrise is proof that new beginnings are part of life. And every new beginning carries the possibility of becoming something beautiful. If this episode spoke to your heart, I hope you'll share it with someone who may need this reminder. And if you'd like to continue having honest conversations about healing, growth, and becoming the person you're meant to be, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Beautifully Unfiltered Podcast. And if there's a topic you'd like me to talk about in a future episode, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Be gentle with yourself. Trust your journey. Keep taking that next small step. And never forget, sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is simply begin again. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. This is Maya from Beautifully Unfiltered Podcast.